Hey, good morning, guys. Today is April 10th, 2016. I'm going to be going over my weekly trade ideas for this week. Before I get into last week's trade ideas recap, let me just get my Twitter account out here. It's at BarryMohan81. There you'll find a link to everything that you need from my YouTube videos, the link to the weekly webinars, and the room that I trade at, awesomecalls.com. So let's jump right into this. Last week, first one on the list was ICPT. I was looking for this one for a small pullback to 129.25. It didn't come all the way back down there, but I did have a aggressive $140 plus price target on it, and it definitely way over exceeded that. Actually went all the way up to 164 something. Next on the list was JDST. I was looking at this one for a bottom play. I said if it came back to the double bottom over here, try some long at the 524 area with a tight stop under low here. So if you did take this one, you did get stopped out on this one. But that's why I always give you very, very tight risk reward. The entry was 524. The low here was 506. So you're looking at basically a 20-cent risk, so it's not that bad. Next on the list was MET. What was I looking for this one? $44. Let me see what the note says. Okay, so pull back to $44. And if it holds, okay, so it obviously did not hold. You did get the pullback right away, so if you did take that first day trade on it, it would have worked. But I was looking for a pullback on this one to 44, and it actually came down to 43.60 that same day. But it definitely did not hold for any more upside move on it. Next on the list was HIG. What was I looking for this one? What was it? 30. HIG pop to 47.70. Okay, so I was looking for initial pop on this one, so a push up to 47.70. Definitely did not get that. And then a short. Okay, so I was looking for 47.70 on the upside, and then a short back to 44. Okay, so you didn't get quite 47.70, but you did get the downside short to 44. It actually hit 44.79. Next on the list was Next on the list was MAT. What was I looking for in this one? 33.75 for a pullback, then for long. Okay, so you did get that 33.75 for the pullback. It actually hit 33.74 for the pullback, then for the 50 EMA support and the long entry. LKQ extended chart, bearish engulfing, pop to 32.45. Okay, so this was the opening day here. Then this is the next day. Okay, so pop to 32.45. You got 32.55, and then pull back to 31.25. You got $31. So this was perfection right there. I'm just trying to read over the notes that I have too, so there's no misunderstanding. I'm not going over this just by seeing the chart now. I'm actually reading off the list that I had from last week, everything written down. VRX double bottom watch here, bullish engulfing. I liked it long. I said risk the area on the bottom here with a price target of $35 plus. You got almost 38 something. That was a beautiful one. DAR was the next on the list. I was looking for this for a pop at 1365. It popped up to 1350 area, and for a short, bring it back down. I said it was an extended chart. I was looking for a slight pullback on it. Wasn't a huge move to the downside, but the target and everything to the upside was beautiful. TROX was the next one on the list. TROX. Okay, so I was looking for a short, bring it back down to $5.85. It hit $5.89 for the long entry watch. Okay, so now this is on watch for long entry. XNPT. I said it was thin. I was looking for a pullback to $4.60. You got a pullback to $4.57, and for a $5.50 price target. It didn't get to the 550 yet, but it's on its way there. It's at 506. So out of the 10 for last week, only one really went bad on you was JDST, and I gave you a good risk reward on that one. So I would say it's a pretty good list last week. So let's get into this week's list. Okay, let me grab my notepad. Alright, this week's list, 4/10/2016. First on the list is ETE. Now I'm liking this chart over here because it's obviously closing above the 50 EMA for the first time in a very long while. It's also breaking this little miniature trend line over here. So I'm looking for a pullback on this one to about 775, and then let's see if we could take it long, break over this little area and push it to closer to $11 to the upside. Next on the list is NGL. I like this little one on the bottom here. Nice little curl up. It's also another energy play, but I do like it, making higher lows at the bottom here, breaking a major trend, breaking a miniature trend. You obviously have resistance at that 50 EMA, which is at 855. But the way that the chart's setting up with the 813 EMA cross here, I like it. You can definitely play this one on the trend. I think if you can get it closer to the trend, you can risk the trend. Try to see if you can get this to push over through this zone over here. So I do like this one. If you can definitely try to get it a bit lower, it'd be awesome. Try to bring it over that trend. Next on the list is Disney. Disney's a short idea. It's breaking a major trend here, and this is making a bearish harami over here. So I definitely like this one for a short. So if Disney pops up to this zone here, 97 area, I definitely think you should take some on the short side and bring it back down to about 93. Next on the list is Rio. This one is sitting on its 50 EMA. It's testing a trend over here. So it seems like it wants to break out of the trend over here. You got your MACD curl down, you got stochastics pointing up. I definitely do think it wants to break out. If you was to play this, you would have to risk, I would say you can risk the 50, or you can just risk this bottom over here, which is about, so you're risking probably about 50 cents or so to try to get a move up into the low 30s. DPS, next one on the list. I like this strong candle here, closed over the 50 EMA. Need a pullback on this one to the 50 EMA, so I would say a pullback to about, on DPS, what do I have? Pullback to $90.75. That'll sit you right on the 50 EMA for a bigger upside move to plus 93 on this one. VRTU is the next one on the list. So I like this channel trade over here. Obviously it came out of the channel but kind of reclaimed into the zone. Bullish harami here. Stochastics are coming up. MACD is coming up. We need a little volume here to bring this trade back up. So it's a pure channel trade. So you can take this on the bottom over here, risk the bottom of the channel, try to push it back up to the top of the channel. There's a 2-point channel trade in between here. So you can definitely bump that around there until you get either the breakout to the upside or the fail to the downside and you get stopped out of the trade. Clmt. This one's flagging over here. It's kind of making a nice double bottom over here. The only concern with me here right now is obviously this head and shoulder that is putting up here. If it gets over this 50 EMA, which is the other shoulder, if it gets over this other 50, this other shoulder right here, I have a nice price target for about 15 on this one. So here's how I would like to play it. Because you can see that it's making a nice bottom right over here. If it pulls back into the zone over here, you can take some long with anticipation of breaking over to the shoulder. You got a nice 813 EMA crossover here. You take a risk down to the trend over to the basin over here, and you try to see if you get that to push over. Next on the list is Ahgp. There's a 813 EMA crossover here, so I'm kind of interested in this one. I do like this nice candle, decent volume. It's a relative volume for the size. It's a thin one. Stochastics are crossed up, so I definitely do like this one for a little upside move on it. Closed over the 50 EMA, which haven't happened for a little while, so I'd say if you get a nice pullback on this one, you can try to play the trend. There's an obvious uptrend over here, so you can play that one. If you get it to pull back into the 15 zone, you can risk down underneath that and see if you can get it to break up and see if you get an $18 price target on it. And number 9 on the list is SLB. Now I like this one. I like this flag here. Nice pennant, being supported by the 50 EMA. It's just hanging over here. I feel like it just wants to make a nice push off. So your risk down here is basically to the 50 EMA zone. You also have a little trend here that you can kind of grab if you want, just to give yourself a little wider room. And you can play this pennant over here for a possible breakout to the upside with a decent price target up to about 76, 77, somewhere on there. And last on the list is LABD. Now I like LABU for the long, but I'm short term, obviously bullish on LABD here, because obviously it's a bullish engulfing sitting at a nice basin area over here from this area, bringing it across to this area here. You got volume coming in where it needs to. MACD starting to flatten out. Stochastics is crossed up. So I definitely like LABD here short term for a pop up to $50 or so, and then we can possibly see what it does, see if it holds resistance, and then bring it back down. So temporarily short term pop on LABD. As far as the general market goes, let's take a look see at that. So the chart's obviously topping over here, right? That's a given. The difference is there's a bunch of differences on this chart as compared to when it was topping before, and there's obviously a bunch of similarities also. You have both indicators are about the same, where MACD's curl down, MACD's curl down, stochastics are hot, stochastics are hot. Okay, that's a given. You have an area where it's kind of flattening out over here, similar to this one over here where it was flattening out before it obviously made that big plunge. But for me, I feel like the market's gonna push out and actually come into new areas of highs. And obviously I could be dead wrong on it, but that's just my interpretation of it. I do like the fact that it is hanging up there, and it does look like it wants to pull back. I don't think it wants to flush. And so I'm looking for this one to probably pull back, or probably print a few dojis up here until it actually curls up and pushes out. As far as crude itself goes, I'm looking for crude to do a early pullback on it, and that's kind of reflective on like DWTI, for example. It would probably pop, and then crude would probably come down a little bit. So I'm looking for crude to come down a little bit, and then slowly push back over 40, 41 area. As far as gold goes, let's look at any of the random one. Obviously, you see gold charts are just definitely bullish here. So I think that it probably tries to push up a little higher. The charts are definitely bullish, so you have to kind of respect that it is bullish. So I'll give it to the gold guys. Your chart's gonna go up a little bit more, but I'm gonna look for a little topping coming around soon. So I already started started a swing position on JDST long, and so that's a first buy in there, and then I will try to come back in and pick up some lower if I have to. But that's as far as what I see on gold. So that's the trades for this week. Hopefully they'll be successful, and we'll go over them next week. All right, have a good day, guys. Take care.